All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining me from wherever you're joining me. I know today's Thursday. It's the Thursday agenda. And we've started at 8:30 tonight, and we're going to go for a little while. We're going to raise with you, as we always do, all of the issues that we know are topical and try to explain, assist, and make a contribution in relation to those things that are topical. We are tonight going to deal with a couple issues because they are fairly current and they keep raising their head again and again. So, of course, it's Thursday night and we're going to get started, but as usual, I'm going to tell my little son who is watching at home, Sawyer, it's time to go to sleep. And my little daughter, Lily, she should be in bed already. But let's start by a comment that is made and that has engendered much discussion. This thing about the revenue that we get from our oil revenues that we get and what we should do with it. Those of you who have watched this program before know my position is really simple. The current regime that is in place is a very responsible one, and it provides for our building infrastructure and the development of the country. But let's backtrack a little bit and work through what was said. Essentially, what was said is because we are earning about 560 billion in that region from petroleum revenues so far, 560 billion Guyana dollars, that we should take about 10.5% of that. And this is what Mr. Hughes is saying, the new leader of the AFC. And we should give that directly to people. That's when things don't make any sense. If we are to look at what the current regime is, just to backtrack, the insinuation that he asked is, where is all the money going? Well, perhaps he's not driven around in Guyana anytime recently. The money is going into the roads that you see being built. The money is going into the bridge that you see being built on the east bank to cross the Demerara River. The money is going into real infrastructure projects. The housing development that is ongoing, infrastructure is required for that too. The roads that are being built requires money. The alleviation of so much that has happened from flooding requires. But then there's been other things. There have been cash grants, grants for school children, the Because We Care cash grants. There have been all those things going on, trying to alleviate and trying to do a little better for the people of Guyana. So it's really disingenuous that someone would say, well, where is the money going? Anybody can see where it has gone. It is before your eyes when you drive, when you look around. And we have to understand very simply, the funds that go to the National Resource Fund, the NRF, those funds come from our oil revenue. But when it goes there by law, firstly, it has to be declared to everyone. So Parliament is informed, it's published in the official gazette, so that everyone knows how much money has been deposited. We can all be aware and satisfied for ourselves that this is what is in the National Resource Fund. What happens next is monies from the fund that could be withdrawn are fixed by law. So the legislation under which that fund comes stipulates how much money can you take out of it and put into the budget. But that's where it goes. It comes out of the fund, and then it goes into the national budget to fund programs. So it has to go to Parliament, and all that it is used for, and all that every cent that comes out of the National Resource Fund is debated in Parliament, and the expenditure is approved by Parliament. So the monies are spent in accordance with that expenditure. So the level of scrutiny that happens, and this is what it's important that we understand. So those that want to be facetious and those that want to mislead and make smart comments to insinuate things could be debunked, so we would know better. The process of the fund is open and transparent. So all of this is what our laws, the statutes that we have passed in the last 3 years, this is what it provides for. The first thing is all the money put into the fund has got to be disclosed to everyone. Parliament is notified. The official gazette, it is published. The official gazette is available online. Anyone can read it, and I encourage you to look up the National Gazette and the official gazette, and you will see that they're all published there. Now, those publications will tell us what is in the fund. Then, the law provides what can be spent from the fund. The first 500 million can be withdrawn. Then there is a sliding scale thereafter. Then it provides what the money can be used for. Infrastructure, principally infrastructure, but there are other things that are set out. Then, so that is, now we have first we have full declaration of what has come into the fund. So we know what the balance, we know what the bank account balance is for the fund. We then know what could be withdrawn by law, and this is set out very clearly. And if anyone bothers or is interested, they can read the National Resource Fund Act that stipulates the first 500 million can be withdrawn, and after that, how much? A percentage, a percentage, a percentage. So you can read it and you can see that very clearly. Now, this doesn't say that you could do what you want with it when you withdraw. The law provides further infrastructure projects, and it lists what are the type of things that the funds can be used for. So it's not a situation that the government, upon the funds being deposited, is entitled to simply take the funds and do with it as they please. That's not permitted under the law. So what has to happen is it has to be allocated or earmarked, as we like to say in Guyana, for these projects. But it doesn't end there. It then has to go to Parliament so that an appropriation bill, the budget, is passed, and we indicate these are the projects that are approved. So Parliament then debates the projects and approves the projects. So that expenditure is made known to the Parliament. This is where the money from the fund was withdrawn. It is used for this project, and Parliament debates on the project, and questions are asked about the project, and then Parliament approves the spending. When the spending is improved, only then can the funds be utilized, and it can only be utilized for exactly what it is approved for. So the chain is very, very detailed and very complete. And anyone who would bother to look at what our laws are, the fundamentals of the legal regime and what it is intended to do, can see very clearly how the funds are. But then comes the things that, and I've said this before and I will say it always, everyone will have an idea what to do with the fund and what to do with the money in the fund. But everyone can't have a say. And everyone can't have their own way. Everybody's got a clever suggestion. But President Ali and his cabinet and the government have got the right, they have earned the right and the mandate of the people to decide what to do. And they're not doing it in secret. They're doing it openly. They have to. They have no choice. They have to take the spending to Parliament and have it approved. So this is no secret. And it can't be a secret. If you don't know about it, you don't want to know about it. If you don't know how the monies are being allocated, you're not interested in it. All of this information is publicly available. All of it. How much is in the fund, what's been allocated to, what Parliament has approved it for. All of that is very, very clear. The flip side of what was casually and flippantly said is that we must make direct payments to the citizens. Now, that's a suggestion from someone who is not elected to govern, who doesn't hold an office. Now, the government of the day has always said that they do not favor that. They favor the development and they favor strategic grants at times that put money into the hands of the citizens. It would be irresponsible as a government to stop infrastructure development, to stop the cash grants that are being done, and simply hand over to people, the citizens in this country, hand them over cash. It would be irresponsible because we are a poor country. The connotations of that we have all of this money and we should start to share it out was the nonsensical idea that existed under the last government, that we were rich. That's why the spending was what it was. That is why the deficit in the budgets were created in that time. That is why when the PPP government came in 2020, they had to alleviate all of that. They had to repair all of that damage that was done in the 5 years. But that was why. It was irresponsible. Guyana is not a rich country. Guyana is a country with great potential, and we are earning. We are earning handsomely and pretty well from our oil revenues compared to what we earned before. We are the fastest growing economy. Our GDP is growing at an enormous rate. All of these things mean that Guyana is on the right trajectory. But don't fool yourself, please. Guyana is not a rich country as yet. Guyana is a country with great potential. And if we get, as we're getting now, prudent management, proper decisions, investment in infrastructure, then we'll be infinitely better off. So the whole thrust of what is being said, that Guyana needs the whole thrust of what Nigel Hughes is saying, that Guyana needs direct cash grants, ignores all of what is being done. And Guyana needs that at this stage as much as a fish needs a bicycle. That simply is not what the country requires at this time. Now, it is a very, very touchy issue, and understandably so. Everybody, it's money that belongs to the country. It's earned by the country, and everybody wants a say. But we have to realize that to spend all of the money, to spend it all by simply handing it out to persons is not a very responsible thing to do. It's important that there be roads. It's important that there be housing and development. And housing areas require, they require roads themselves, water, electricity. We need to improve that. You see the constant complaints that have been made in recent months about the electricity situation. It has improved, at least in my experience, and as far as I'm aware, it has improved quite a bit. But it's still, there is still a lot of complaints, and there's still ways to go. We're waiting on the gas to energy project to come online. We're waiting for other things to come online. So it's a process. But we've got to fund these things. These are major capital investment projects. These are projects that are transformative, that are to the interest of all of Guyana, that these projects are advanced. Because not only would these projects don't benefit one person. They don't, as the opposition people like to say, that they like to portray that it would benefit only one side of the political divide, and it would only somehow benefit PPP followers. That's ridiculous and preposterous. Everybody drives on the roads, not only supporters of the government. Everybody uses the road, same way, equally. It improves the lives of everyone. The roads, having more roads is an advantage. Having better electricity is an advantage. Having better potable water system is an advantage. Having facilities generally improve. We've seen, and we see in the city, there are complaints by even councillors of the city council, that the city council is failing when it comes to solid waste management, garbage collection. These things are not working. They're not working as they should. They're not being done. These are all things that you got to realize. If we're a rich country, these problems wouldn't exist. We would have dealt with them. We would have had the systems in place. The mayor and city council at present leaves a lot to be desired about why they wouldn't achieve this. But again, we come back to the whole tongue-in-cheek, flippant comment, smart statement about it. But when you look at what is being said and what the comments that are being made, where has all the money gone from the NRF? Open your eyes when you're driving and you might be able to see it. The accountability of the money, there's a clear train of what is going on. So that's in relation to that issue. Of course, we had another issue, which I don't want to deal with directly too much. It's the matters involving Minister Vikram Barrett and what has been said, and because litigation is very likely at this stage. But we have to be, as a people, more responsible in terms of what we say about each other. Minister Vikram Barrett, whether you are a supporter of the government or whether you are a supporter of the opposition, is a minister of government of Guyana. And to accuse and to imply and to try to tear him down invariably affects all of Guyana. When the version of events are manufactured, when they are twisted, when the things that are said are meant to deliberately harm someone, then you've got to ask yourself why. And why would people go out of their way to do such a thing? Now, the story, and it is pointless for anyone who has not been there to pontificate about what it is. But I think if we simply go by what is in the public domain, and there was a statement from the United States Embassy in Guyana, a very clear statement as it relates to its conduct with Minister Barrett. Not stopped, not questioned. So everybody else supposedly know. And the clowns who will support and hang on to that foolish version of things and want to insinuate, well, they know everything, and they know this, and they know that, to what end? Now, it's a simple thing. It's either so or it's not so. But of course, in the face of everything in the public domain, you're entitled to be a clown and hold on to an unreasonable position. You're entitled to thump your chest and pontificate. But to what end would have to be the question. To what end would you pursue what is clearly being debunked by all sides? But no, you will go to your whisper campaigns and you will go on Facebook and social media and you will pontificate. This is what happened. I know there. We all of a sudden have experts on everything to do with diplomatic protocol. Everyone knows, apparently, the details and inner workings of the John F. Kennedy Airport in New York. Everybody is aware who this person is, who that person is, who called who did what. How is that so? When, as a people, did we become that? When, as a people, did we not care about the truth anymore? Listen, the simple version and the simple solution is this. You weren't there, so you rely on what you're told. Based on everything that is now in the public domain, clearly you've been lied to. And if that is indeed the case, then whoever it is that has been promoting those views should be citizen enough to stand up and say, all right, I've been out of place and I've been mistaken. But we promote and we pontificate as if we know, when we don't know. Regrettably, in this particular situation, the cycles to which it benefited prior to the statement from the United States Embassy was most unfortunate. I mean, some of it involved things that I did, but in terms of a response, it's easy. It's really easy to thump your chest and say whatever. But to what end? Now that you've thumped your chest and pretended to know everything and been so sure of your version, and then the American embassy makes a statement. So where does that leave you? I mean, as the saying goes, it's up a creek without a paddle. But again, when as a people, we Guyanese got there, that we are unconcerned about the truth. We hate each other so much that what we will want to do is at all cost denigrate each other. Never mind about the truth, never mind about the facts, never mind what anyone says to us. We will simply not accept it, not believe it, and simply say, we know this, this is so. Something has happened in Guyana. Guyana was not that place. And Guyana should not be that place. Politics is what it is. The society is what it is. But we should listen. In the face of anything that goes on, or in the face of anything that is said, if what you report or you say it's the truth, if you saw someone on the road waving a white flag and you tell the whole world they were waving a white flag, that's fine. But if they weren't, and it's later found out that they weren't waving a white flag, why would you insist on it? We have got to have a different approach as a people. We have got to be more discerning. This is the kind of nonsense why the people find it hard to believe. I mean, in politics, it's things are said, but it can't be this when in the face of everything that is before you, there is no apology, and you're proud and thump in your chest to say there'll be no apology. I mean, yes, Guyana is a free country. You're free to hold views that you want, and you're free to behave as you want, but should you really behave that way? Should you really behave that way? Who does that help? And if, perchance, in the political debates and disputes that follow it, people don't realize that even your own followers realize that, man, you're really talking trash now. They're not going to come out and say it, perhaps, but they can judge for themselves. They can see things for themselves. And that's where the problem goes deeper. Because even the supporters of in the political should tell the leaders, man, we don't see it that way. These are the things that are, as a people in Guyana, we have got to become. Stand for something. Stand on the principle. Not at all cost you want so badly and you hate so deeply other citizens that you are almost willing into effect every mishap you can. And every scrap or indication of a mishap, you grab on it, you pounce and you twist as much as you can to make that literally try to make something out of nothing at all. They are fixed rules of protocol. They are fixed treatment of persons with diplomatic passports. I've seen all across Guyana in the last few days how many experts we have on the Geneva Convention, how many experts we have about whether persons with diplomatic passports could be questioned or not. You know, really and truly, I can't imagine that people don't actually, if you want to pontificate and thump your chest about knowing it, then read the convention. Read what's written on the convention. Read about the categories of diplomats. It might be worthwhile that you note that if a person is a member of cabinet, and a person, as opposed to the person who is in the country that would present credentials, what's the ranking and how it works? Might surprise you. But again, no one has bothered to read it. No one has bothered to read the convention or anything that's written on it. But we're all experts. I have no idea where some of those views came from. Some of those views are so preposterous. I can't believe that people would actually say it. But you have to understand what the Geneva Convention, as it relates to diplomats, was trying to achieve, and why it is in the treatment across planet Earth, in the civilized world, it's respected. It's important. These are important tools that persons thought would be in the best interest worldwide for these rules to exist. So there's a lot to read, but instead of spouting all kinds of things that you know, maybe you could read the convention and that would help you. And maybe you could read the categorizations. That too would help you. So, ladies and gentlemen, all of you that have joined me from wherever you are, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are back, and we're going to be here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. I know today we started a little late, but we're now getting back into the swing of things. We're now getting back doing this program on a regular basis. We will be here, same time, same place, always on a Thursday night. I would be most honored if you all would, who are here, and you could let your friends know, join me. We could have a discussion. I try at times to pay attention to the comments and what's said. I'm not very good at it. I know I've been promising since last year that I'll get better, but I'm learning how to do it. I think today is the first time I figured out a little trick about how to still be able to read while I'm speaking to you. So matters that you raise, I would try, if I can, to engage with you. But thank you from wherever you are joining me, and thank you for your time. As always, good night. May your God be with you.